Hi, my name is Schuyler Bailar, and I'm a transgender activist, athlete, and author, and today I'm going to share a little bit about my experience with hormones with you. I first learned what it meant to be transgender and that hormones were available for a transition when I was in an eating disorder treatment center in 2014. And I discovered it almost exclusively through Instagram, and it honestly blew my mind because I remember seeing somebody and seeing two pictures of them, one before transition and one after testosterone. And I thought, wow, somebody assigned female at birth can look like that with taking hormones. That's amazing. And I remember feeling like I was so excited that I could potentially do that too. My medical transition has been, I think, a little bit different than a lot of folks, and definitely from the folks around me at the time, because I'm an athlete. And so I was recruited to swim for Harvard women's swim team in 2013. And when I realized that I was trans, I had to navigate that as well. And I was originally going to swim for the women's team, and per NCAA rules, the governing body of sports in college, I wasn't allowed to take testosterone and also compete as a woman. And so I had to kind of navigate that. I initially decided I was going to stay on the women's team, but then I was offered a spot on the men's team, and that allowed me to even consider testosterone. And so I did, and I began thinking about what it meant to take it and if I wanted to take it. At that point, I had had top surgery, and I felt much more comfortable in my body because of that. So I was nervous about taking testosterone, and I think that's a narrative we don't talk about a whole lot, about people being nervous. But I ended up deciding to take it because I felt like I was still hiding pieces of myself from myself. And I thought if I take testosterone, maybe I'll feel more like myself. Despite having been so nervous before I started testosterone, it's actually been one of the best decisions of my life. I felt like when I went through my first puberty, estrogen-driven puberty, I felt like my body was being ripped from me, that I was just walking away from it, growing out of it. And taking testosterone has been the exact opposite. I felt like I've been growing into myself and growing into my body, and that's been so wonderful. I had this goal before I started transitioning that I wanted to be able to be comfortable in my nakedness, just in my skin by myself, and that's definitely happened. Now I feel so much more comfortable just being able to take a shower or walking around naked or being in intimate situations. I think that's been such an affirming process for me. The main thing that I wish was different is that I wish there was this medical authority basically for trans folks and trans medical transitions. That's what Plume is now, so I'm so grateful that it's there. But I mean, I found out everything, and I think most of my friends who are trans also found out everything through other trans folks and just through hearsay, right? Through YouTube, through Instagram, through Twitter, wherever they could find the information, through Reddit. You can trust other trans people, but you can really trust like medical doctors telling you things. And again, that's what Plume is, and so I'm so happy that's there now. The other thing that I wish were different is the narrative, and I think there's a way in which, again, because of the lack of visibility, because we're learning things from other trans folks who just have experiences they're sharing, is there's a way in which the narrative is very singular. This is how you transition. These are the things that you need to do. And I realized both through my experience and through learning more people's experiences that it doesn't have to be this one prescripted sort of like written down way of doing it. Your transition is your way. And I think everybody should have the agency to define their own transitions for themselves. And I think that's shifting again over time. And it's something that Plume is passionate about, is letting you drive your transition. But I wish that narrative were different when I was first transitioning. And then the last thing is I want transition to be available to everybody who wants it. And right now it's not in a lot of ways. The access to hormones is very difficult and unavailable for a lot of people. And I think Plume is changing that drastically. And I would love for Plume to be everywhere. And would love to be Plume to be integrated into healthcare, period, so that no trans people ever have to fight for their right to healthcare. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope this was helpful to you. If you'd like to learn more about my transition or my process, you can visit my Instagram or my website, and I hope you have a great day.